Hello Juche music person called first name. Mrs. last name. It's been a long time, but Juche are still making musics. We are very happy to announce the release of our second full-length music album called Echo Title. We would love it if first name download and listen to new album. The album can be obtained digitally for Name Your Price from Bandcamp. Get it free. A limited edition LP vinyl 33 and 1/3 RPM is also available. Consider it. Peace, love, and strange sample-based music. Sincerely, Jack of Juche.
Hey everybody, welcome to Nursery, a podcast from Ohio's creative voice. My name's Lee Boyle.
Ace 500.
So, Youngstowners, Ohioans, and beyond, if you have heard this name, you know what I'm about to say, but if you haven't, let me just intro what little I know. So, I went to a concert, hip-hop artist D-Town, underground rapper, Youngstowner. He was doing a Northside EP thing, and then I met buddies, and somebody came up to me, Ace, and was like, here's a CD, and he gave me a CD, and he kind of does that underground thing where he like hands out CDs everywhere, and it's Ace 500, all one word, and it's what it is he has CD, I believe the album title is Danny Zuko, and the lead single is Danny Zuko.
500.
Okay, $1 million dream, smoking weed in a recession. Tell me what you see and I'ma teach about deception. Quarterback and visions, I'm a leader for the most part. Magic flute with me, Wolf Gang, see that's Mozart. T-Bird shit, I'm the black Danny Zuko. If everybody Jordan, who the fuck is Sony Kukoc? Honorary visions, I can show your ass a good time. Ray Lewis glitch, gotta kill a nigga one time. $1 million dreams, tell Jack, shoot the video. My nigga got some shit that make you feel like Rey Mysterio. Working on this music got me sounding like I'm on one. Full house credits, twins make me feel awesome.
Yeah, well, you know what? It was
known.
more of a mixtape. It was a mixtape I put out. Not so many mixtape.
Yeah, that makes
we
sense.
just put out different songs, different feels. But it definitely, I want to give you that like a Grease, almost like a musical. If you listen to it from like the beginning to the end, and you have like a Youngstown version of a Grease. You know what I'm saying? You'll hear different things. You don't hear a lot, but you'll hear different things. But it was still in the same time it was musical.
Right.
So that was one of my. It's crazy. That was one of my favorite movies growing up. Was Grease. And I like the music. And it was funny. You know, and there, Danny Zuko was that cool one out of the group. So you definitely watched that growing up. Watched a lot of movies, but that was something that I actually held on to over the years.
And it's referential like hip hop, because you reference in the title track, you play clips from Grease, and he's like at the end he's like, I don't know, maybe there's a missing persons thing, you can whatever his smart line to say.
He says,
and you reference Rey Mysterio in there too.
Oh
don't you?
I like wrestling. Definitely
that's awesome.
Back in the day. So you hear a lot of things. You got to check it out. It's on That Piff right now. Thatpiff.com. You can type in Ace 500. You can even type in the CD Danny Zuko, because some people they do it different ways.
Yep.
And you can listen to it. You can let me know what you think. You know, we actually, it's crazy. We're working on a video right now for It's All Good. So this will actually be my first video.
Okay.
It was more timing. It was more timing. I feel like right now it's the time. So we're working on the therapy with it. So you'll definitely see the It's All Good video. And if you haven't heard the song, you can go on thatpiff.com, type in Danny Zuko, and you can listen to it. Let me know what you think.
That's cool, man. And then people can also a couple platforms like SoundCloud, correct? You're on there. SoundCloud, Ace 500, and then I guess Facebook. Obviously, there's a music page for Ace 500.
I have my own music page. You can type in Ace 500 on Facebook. I'm on SoundCloud. You can type in Ace 500. I got songs on SoundCloud that are actually not on the Danny Zuko, so the only way you can hear it if you actually go to my SoundCloud.
That's cool.
And I got a song on there called The Message, and if you listen to it, actually just let me know what you think about it. I love feedback. I'm not the type of person you can give me bad feedback, and I'm what I'm saying, I feel a certain way. I feel like everyone has their opinion. whether we like it or not, everyone has their opinion. So
Yeah.
if I ask for it, give. If I don't, you don't have to give it. That's
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So, guys, if you're listening to this podcast, whether you stumbled upon it or you knowingly said, "Oh, I want to hear Ace 500 get interviewed,"
Right.
Go. If you didn't know any of this, go check it out. Then maybe go find him and be like, "Hey, I like this track. I like this track. When are you going to do more of this? I like that. I don't so much like this, but I like that." And like, especially Youngstowners, I think, love that feedback because there's few and far between as far as like hip hop artists. There's not enough here. D-Town stresses that a lot.
Hey, D-Town, you got to check out D-Town, man. That's my guy from the North Side, Melody. They're good.
Then what's the other 1093 Entertainment? Isn't that some associate? I don't think it's like you're obviously not like under that label, but isn't that Jamal Fareed? I think he was at the show. You might not know him, but
it's a lot. We have, man. It's
I drew a lot of association.
A lot of talent. No, you're right. Yeah. Youngstown has a lot of talent. There's so much music in here. It's just more. You got to see more people willing to work together. We move a certain way, and that's understandable. But could you imagine if Youngstown just maybe did one mixtape and we all, just came along and did some dope music?
That's a good idea. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Dope music, and maybe it's volumes because you can't put every artist on one. But do something like that and just pass it around because that's all it is. But we gotta learn to do that first. But I think timing is everything. So I think. Give it time and you'll see different things moving and you'll hear more Youngstown music, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and I think once in a while I saw somebody take initiative. There's a guy that runs a poetry group, and he did a volume. He called it Volume 1, probably to like give himself like motivation to make a Volume 2, and he did a book called Makeshift Poets Volume 1. He got all these people together to do poetry readings in Warren and Niles, Ohio. And like it was just nice because it was just a project, and then it turned out he just met a lot of people that like the same stuff as him. So a hip hop mixtape of Youngstowners or music mixtape in general of Youngstown would be amazing. And I think I'm not sure. Stop me if I'm wrong, but at the show when I did meet you, did you go up and freestyle? Did you get up there?
Yeah,
because that's what kind of drew me in. It's like you gave me the CD, and I'm a musician, so I'm receptive to that. Because I'm like, hey, give me the CD. But I got to see you. I got to see you live, so that kind of sold me on it.
Oh yeah. I went up there. They had the freestyle going. And, I love the freestyle. I actually don't do it enough, but that was something fun. And
that was
everybody coming up there, and everybody was just giving that that fire.
That was my favorite
and it was
part
a good warm up for whatever you was doing. So it definitely loosened you up and got into the mode so you can perform. And I had fun that night.
And that was nice. Yeah, shout out to D-Town. And plus, so D-Town talks a lot between songs, and it was like more of like this sculpted set. But it was nice to like end the night with like crazy like freestyle too. So it was like the best of both worlds as far as hip hop shows I've been to. I haven't been to a whole lot, especially not in Youngstown because there's just not enough people here locally. But I think what I saw was Mello, him, you, and I think the dude that I mentioned earlier was up at some point, and then probably one other dude, and they're kind of rotating in and out of verses and stuff like that, freestyle. And that was what kind of sold me. And then so I had your CD and took it home and listened and
man, I appreciate
of course. And then listeners, please, like he said, like go find Ace 500. That's one word. You could probably just Google that and then find your way around your favorite platform.
You Ace 500, you will see it. It's 2 words. It go both. So
it can be either.
It's either. So whatever you type in, it definitely to come up. And check me out. Follow me on Instagram. It's 500 Ace 500 _. I'm on. I don't know if you snap. If anybody's out there that snaps, my snap is It's 500.
It's gonna be awesome because the one you see on Snap, you're gonna see him working out, man. You're always like half the time when I see you, you're like on your way to be running somewhere, or you're like maybe at a gym if I'm not mistaken or something. And you're always kind of like truly using Snap for what it's for, like doing like the video diary type stuff where you're like, today I'm gonna try to do this. Right. You always you're always pretty humble about like, I'm gonna see what happens. You're never like, you should all be like me. You're always just like, I'm gonna try this today and see what goes down. And
you know what
you're like, I have a few more in me, and you started running more. Remember that was like a recent one.
I try to motivate myself. Yeah. I grew up. It's funny. I grew up the only child, so I still had that. It was always me.
Yeah.
I didn't have I'm blessed. I always had another brother. Now I have brothers and sisters, and I'm blessed for all of them. But it was always me.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's like either you're going to push yourself because no one else is going to do it. So that's how I do with my music. When I go to work, when I work out, like I try to live my life where you just got to push yourself. And you really, it's no really need to look around and say what's not going on or why is my music not doing this. You have to push yourself at the end of the day. And I push myself with working out because health is important. My family, we have high blood pressure and diabetes, and
I have high blood pressure in my family.
Yeah, it's hereditary.
Yep.
So it's something you need to attack early and just go with it. So I definitely try to live a healthy life and balance it out.
Yeah, man. And I think also it's not something that's necessary, but it's a nice little bonus when once in a while you get maybe someone Snapchatting who's like, go for it, man, you're doing great, or that somebody gives you encouragement. I play in a indie pop outfit called Third Class. A lot of times it's just me solo, but it's me and two other guys at the core of the writing. And I was like hesitant to do this, but then I got on Snapchat. My Snapchat, for listeners, if you care, I think it's just Lee Boyle, all one word, LeeBoyle, and it's stylized right now as thirdclass.net for the site. What I did is I went on there and showed, it's really dumb to do this, but I showed like the chords I was writing for our songs, and like I felt a little bit like full of myself. Like I was like, oh man, what's that about? But then I got feedback. I got people being like, I like that song. Are you going to record that? And it actually worked. So it was
nice.
like,
that's nice.
Yeah, it's not like a ton of people responded, but it was like that was the stuff that sparked interest. So like it's nice that you like show your motivations on Snapchat and stuff, what music or otherwise, or health or anything. It's kind of
it's
fun.
Like you say, it's like a personal journal. It's just me recording what's actually going on in my life. It's not like so much scripted. It's like, okay, I'm going to say this at 5 o'clock, or I just try to let people know what's going on with me. I think that's the whole purpose, like you say, with the Snapchat, and you have different people that'll react to my music, or they'll say, yo, I see you working out, you might have helped me out. You know what I'm saying? You can help one person. Like DMX said, I just watched DMX interview on Breakfast Club, and he was just saying, like, if you could just help one person, he said, like, you helped my life, you changed my life, like that I did something good with my life. And that's just how I feel. Like I'm not, when you hear my music and you might hear different things I talk about, it can be about a friend, it could be about different things, what I seen, what I feel, how I grew up, and I want to give you that energy to let you know you can get over anything. You can overcome anything. So that's something I love about my music, and I hear it growing into that direction.
And that's cool because you can, like you're kind of saying that you can get the inspiration from something that somebody else is doing that has nothing to do with anything you would do, and apply it to your own stuff. Because I like sports movies and sports documentaries, and I know nothing about sports. I don't follow. I follow nothing. Like I don't know anything about it. I've been to a couple. Like I've been to a baseball game because a friend was like, "Come on, I got a ticket." It was never my choice, and I don't have anything against it. But then when I watch those sports documentaries or one of those dumb football movies where the underdogs win, I love that stuff.
Oh, that's
because it makes you inspired for other things. You can roll that over into music or something. You can make it apply. And I know. Do you follow? Okay, so you're Akron now, but you're from Youngstown, Ohio.
From Youngstown, Ohio.
Do you follow? Like, is the Cavaliers thing awesome? I mean, I'm happy about it.
You know what? I'm actually happy for the Cavaliers for Ohio. I'm first of all, I'm a Kobe fan. I'm a LA Lakers fan. You know what I'm saying? If you know me, you know I'm a Lakers fan. So I'm definitely, just because Kobe's gone, so I can look at the game different. Because it was always Kobe, LeBron, and of course I took Kobe's side. That's just what you do. You know what I'm saying? That's your favorite player. You got to stand up for him. So now that Kobe gracefully, 60-point last game, and that was amazing. He left with that, with that legacy and what he did. Now you can watch the game different. And for LeBron, even though you always want to go against him, you got to tip your hat off. I mean, that's where I'm in Akron right now. So it was live. It was live in Akron that night. I went down. I'm going sidetrack. I went down and I went to the bar, and you just see people running around. LBJ, the savior, he's back, he did it. And I'm just trying to go ahead and get my wings. I'm gonna go home. And my girlfriend, she enjoyed herself. She was out there with the Cavs. She a Cavs fan, so it was great. Everyone's happy.
That's
I'm happy.
Awesome. And that's how it was. My wife and I were both kind of more happy for Ohio, and we were very excited. Like, just to give you an idea, I should have watched it. It sounded like it was a great game, but what happened was I got home from work and she had her phone out and was just watching the numbers. And it was so funny. Like, so she just came up to me and was like, "Oh man, it's 90 something or 80 something, the high score, whatever it was." And she was watching it and she was like, oh, one more minute left, and then they got it and she like kind of did a little dance, was excited, and like
man, that's good.
And we were both excited though, like
That's
more
great.
economically like speaking, we were excited about, because it does seem like what little I know about LeBron like is that from 2003 on, there were like hundreds of millions of dollars brought into Cleveland from him and stuff. So we were really excited in that regard. I totally respect sports, and I look at it as an art form of sorts. But yeah, I was kind of like you. I was like, just like, wow, man, I feel like I'm in some way at the heart of it. Not only because of Northeast Ohio, but because I have friends that were like crying that day. You know, they were just,
was real. It was
oh my
real.
God,
Yeah, it was definitely real.
So I was kind of happy for them on that front too, like, because I have a friend who's like a Clevelander through and through, and he has the season tickets for Indians, Cavs, Browns.
Oh, he's a real deal.
Crazy.
He's
Yeah.
Cleveland, yeah.
And like, so what? 50-some years. He was.
Oh, yeah,
he was
loyal.
insane.
They're loyal
Yeah.
fans. You can talk bad. I'm a Steelers fan. I go against the Browns all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always every year. But you can say one thing about the Browns fans: they're loyal.
They're so
loyal.
Yeah.
And the person they'll beat themselves up after they lose by 50, but they're still loyal. That's by the Steelers.
Totally. And we live in a weird, obviously, like this for listeners who might be out of state or out of country even, this podcast is based in Ohio, and we're actually based in Youngstown, which is real close to PA. So we have a lot of Steelers and Browns fans kind of living under one roof all the time. Yeah. But okay, so we talked about, you came from Youngstown, you're in Akron now. What was it like to grow up in Did you grow up mostly in Youngstown?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I grew up in Youngstown. I went to two different schools. I went to St. Edward's on the north side. So I think that was where the whole the Danny Zuko mix, it was more of my atmosphere when I first started off. Even though I was from the north side, I had friends everywhere. I started off there, so I was young. So I was spending most of my time in that atmosphere. You grew up, and then I don't know why my parents did it, but they decided to send me to Eagle Heights. I love it. Shout out Eagle Heights. I went to Eagle Heights, and that was just a whole different experience. It was like watching Danny Zuko. As soon as it go off, you turn on East Side High. So it was like that. So you walking in, and you know people, but you really don't. It was a whole different side of town, and that was just an experience. And then just growing up, just different living conditions. Your family, your parents weren't together, so you had like a step side of your family, and you get two sides of a household. Growing up, and different things happen in different houses and different neighborhoods, but at the same time it was the north side. So I seen a lot growing up. I seen a lot, and I think that that was another thing that that has humbled me. I seen things at a young age, and I think the more you listen to my music, the more you'll hear that. I think I'm still opening up to who I really am. I'm 26 right now, and I'm just trying to progress in the music and continue to make it better. So Youngstown has did a lot, and shout out to the Cheney High School. I'm a cowboy. Once a cowboy is a cowboy. So shout out to everybody from Cheney 07.
So how much of you, when you turned kind of knowingly in your head, were comparing your high school with like stuff in Greece and stuff like that, how much of that was you just trying to like have a good time and like put that over, trace it with Greece, and how much of it was really like, was it your high school that made you like Greece, or was it Greece that made you like look at your school that way? You know what I mean?
I would say Greece made me look at my school like that. I think it was the movie, and then the characters actually came at a younger age into an older age, like when I went from St. Edward's to Eagle Heights to Cheney. You see, you have different people that you grow up in your life, and everything is music. Everything is a musical. You're the artist, and you're painting it like you're painting your life.
Yeah.
And you'll hear my paintings and my music, and it's different type of songs, different ages, but it's all just fit with the Danny Zuko, and that character fit me. I was like the cool kid.
Sure.
I was a cool kid, not say everybody, but a lot of people like me.
That's cool.
It was just everybody got good vibes from me. Played football, basketball, threw track. I ain't gonna say run. Somebody be like, he never ran. But I threw for track, I always stayed in sports. Had a couple of great ladies around in my life. So I was the cool kid. So
well, you don't strike me as the dude who thinks you peaked in high school though. You seem pretty happy right now. Like, sometimes when you're cool in high school, then later you're like, I was so cool in high school.
Yeah,
You don't sound
no,
like you're saying
no.
those were the days.
No.
You seem like you're pretty positive now too.
Yeah, I think the days are ahead of us.
Yeah. That's unique.
Yeah, I'm just I'm not that guy like, oh, back in high school when I played
No.
for this and I had the no.
You said you were cool, but you said it
Yeah,
kind of in a different way than a lot of people say it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still cool right now.
Yeah.
I'm the same person that I was in high school.
Yeah.
I feel like people might say I changed. Well, yeah, I just grew up.
Sure.
So if that can be changed, we all have to grow up, and that's something I'm actually seeing myself, like the growth, and I know I have a lot of growth in me. So no, I'm still cool. My music is cool. Like I said, you can go on that Piff and you can type in Danny Zuko and you can check it out and let me know.
What is that site called again?
Datpiff.com.
How do you spell that?
DATPIFF.
That's right.
.com.
Okay.
Yeah,
DATPIFF.com, listeners. And check that out. Yeah, Ace 500. And that's cool because obviously you must put a lot of where you came from into your music and stuff like that. But I dealt with that I just grew up thing too because me with my band Third Class, you could almost say that almost every single song, everything we do is about childhood. Most of it's about either growing up or growing up in a small town.
Okay.
Grew up in East Palestine, Ohio.
Okay.
Really tiny town. And so I've had to deal with the same idea where I have to kind of prove to people I did grow up. As much as it looks like maybe I didn't.
Right.
And I act like such a little 4-year-old sometimes with the jokes I make. I'm a grown up. It's hard. It's kind of hard when you do something like music or any sort of art form because people think that you're kind of living in this fantasy world. They don't realize how hard work it is.
How serious you're right.
Yeah.
How serious you are about
As if
it.
you're partying all the time.
Yeah, it's like,
not
oh,
really
no, he
like
should,
that.
no.
Yeah.
I'm not so much I want to party. I just want to be out and connecting with people because they might like my music because you'll hear I make party music. Like I still like to party. I still like to party, but I'm not in the party trying to party, if that makes sense. Like I still like to be around the crowd, but it's more about growing up. If that makes sense, it's more about growing up. And like you say, some people see the art and they don't understand until the picture is actually done.
No, it is about growing up because music helps you grow up, and music's literally everywhere. So it's not like oh, look at this guy rock and rolling or hip hop or whatever the genre, living in his own little fantasy world. No, it actually ends up teaching you a lot because even really literal like practical things like I learned how to deal with a trailer, hook up the trailer and stuff to go on tour, and learned how to weight the wheels correctly, get it checked up on. I'm not a mechanic by any means, but I learned some fun little things. I learned how to the stuff they teach you in college about public speaking. That stuff you can learn immediately if you're a musician. Like that's not even that's a second nature now. And that's
exactly.
You know how you ever hear that as dumb statistics? People's number one fear, public speaking. Number 2, death. You ever hear that? It's like this is a big thing. Like when you're an artist, you learn public speaking, you learn to socialize. That's something they teach in school.
Yeah.
It's like there's practicality that comes out of art, like no doubt.
Right.
People act like it's this little game, but it's not. It's really not. And then they turn around and take sports seriously, which really is a game. Not that that's not hard work too.
Exactly.
But you know what I mean? Like there's a weird double standard there. I think people think that you're kind of in your own little world when you make music, but really it's a networking thing. It's a interaction thing, and it's like you said, you want critiques. You're looking for someone to tell you what to do better, and you'll do it.
Oh yeah. I feel like if you want to listen to someone's music and you can actually connect with them, or you're listening to it, why not give your feedback?
Yeah.
You'll see some people that just won't say nothing. They'll keep their, sometimes you do have to keep your thoughts to yourself. But if it can be positive or it can help, why not help the next person?
Yeah,
I think that's one of the biggest problems.
I got thick skin. I can take if they say I liked your last album better. I like this, but I can take it. It's all good.
You can tell when someone is critiquing you and when someone is trying to. The word we'll use is be a hater.
Yeah.
You can tell. And if someone say, hey, I like that thing, you should, okay, cool. If they say, man, the whole thing, okay, thank you. And you have to move on. That's just life.
And a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times the kind of rude comments, because someone can tell you they don't like your music without being horrible about it. But once in a while the rude or maybe passive aggressive comments come from someone that's so far outside the world.
Right.
And I know maybe I'm just framing it the way I want to see it, but it feels like that they maybe passed up an opportunity themselves to be an artist and lived in the quote real world, and now they're I don't know. I sound stupid, but it's like they're jealous.
Right.
They're jealous a little
Listen,
bit.
it's not even just music. That's life.
Yeah.
You'll hear that in different situations, and it, like you said, the person could have maybe wanted to be a basketball player, or
I want to be a guitar player.
Yeah, or be a guitar
something.
player, or lead singer, or pass it up for something else. And they might see you on your destination or your journey, and they're going to want to knock you down.
You know what? I'll tell this real quick story. I have a family member who it was supposed to be all in good fun practical joke, but you could really tell what he thought of me. He did this thing where he posed as some sort of booking agent in Toledo, Ohio. Called up and said, "Are you guys in that band Third Reich?" And that was his first joke, and I was like, "Third class," so he's just screwing around. But I thought it was a real dude. And he was like, "Well, we're prepared to pay you," and he named some high number.
Right.
And he was like, "And you'll come and you'll be in this showcase in Toledo." I had played shows in Toledo, and I hadn't seen numbers like that anywhere near, but I was professional on the phone. Okay. When I thought it was a dude, I was like, "Okay, sounds good. I'll talk to the guys I get back." I was like, I didn't do the, "Oh my God," I didn't do the, "We're on the radio."
Right, let's go.
Yeah.
We made it. And
I didn't
call up everybody.
Then,
right.
even when I thought it was real, I was like very much like, "All right, I don't know if this is real, but I'm happy if it is. I'll talk to the guys. This is amazing. I don't know why we would be in this demand." I took it. It was like semi-believable in my head.
Okay.
Call that being full of yourself. Call it me just trying to take an opportunity. And then he was like, "I'm just kidding. It's Uncle so-and-so." And so he's like, "I'm just messing with you." And I was like,
"You don't do
that's
that.
funny,
That's
I guess, but not really."
Not really.
Yeah.
Like, could you tell another could have been another scenario or something else, not with the music?
No, and that guy's a musician, so and not a professional one, but he's way. Here's the thing, he's like one of those by the book guys, who and he's great, but he learns music, learns the real chords, and he can Scott Joplin it up, ragtime type, wild piano, almost to the point of I don't want to say he'd be classically trained sounding, but he's one of those guys that can really jam on it. Okay. And I'm more the songwriter who plays wrong but writes great songs. I'm on the other side of the music.
So that means you guys probably make great music together.
Yeah, him and I, when we put our minds together and talk, it turns out great.
I can imagine.
Because he's the technical guy and I'm the more creative side.
You mix those two together.
I'm more like a T-Rex when I play the keys. I'm just pounding with two fingers. But he's the guy that's I'm up and down all 88 keys, So I'm not saying he called me because he's like, that guy plays piano wrong, but I think that maybe underneath, this guy's a very hardworking provider for a family, and he lives life in the super grown-up world. And I feel that he maybe called me. He probably was like, consciously, this will be a funny joke. I'll be like, "I'm just ribbing you, ha ha ha." I know that was kind of mean, but it was funny. Right. But then subconsciously, I felt maybe he chose music because he was a little bit like, "I never had my opportunity. Let's cut this guy down." That kind of, you know what I mean?
I understand.
And it didn't. I sound like I'm got my feelings hurt.
No,
it's not that. It's just that the dude. I've met a lot of that guy. I've met that guy, and it sounds like who you're describing when you talk about you called them haters.
Yeah, right.
There's a little bit of that in people, and I've been the hater on some other.
I think
part of life.
I think we all been a hater in a situation, and you sometimes you just have to admit that you believe or that you feel you might have a little hater in you. Yeah. And sometimes that can just grow you up. Mm-hmm. It's just admitting.
You gotta admit it, because it's usually something that has a little taste of something you experienced maybe in younger years, and then you're the first to I grew up with a family of people that were kind of hippies, and they were into natural alternative medicine and stuff. And then just today I had a friend tell me about something she'd been trying. It had to do with meditation or something, and I jumped on her so hard. I was like, "Oh, meditation, isn't that great? Pay $200 a week for someone to tell you to sit still and think." And I was real hard on her. Right. And she was like, why are you?
What is going on?
She's like, you of all people, you grew up with a family who was cool with they were the kind of people that would eat chicken soup and drink orange juice before going to the emergency room and getting pills. They're just into, they're more into natural. We didn't have anything against medication or Western medicine, but we were
that's probably worked out.
Yeah, we were just into certain health aspect. So she was like, "Why are you jumping on me?" I was like, I know. I'm sorry. I was like, I think there's something like I'm hating myself through making fun of you.
But you admitted it.
I did.
And
but
you
like you said,
what happened, right?
Yeah.
You understood what happened. So.
Like you said, it's like it's the stuff that you hate on the worst is usually a little piece of you. Almost.
It's usually you. Sometimes you got to look in the mirror and say, you know what, that shouldn't. But I get it.
Yeah, like some of the guys that probably hated on you, maybe they themselves had attempted rap or attempted hip hop, or totally did it, but they heard you and they're like, I can do it much better. Like they're just trying to massage their ego, right?
Yeah, that's what that happens with music. I think it happens with a lot of artists. I think I might, like you said, I think I might have or had a little bit of that in me.
Sure.
You know, and really, you're really telling yourself is that you're not working hard enough because you don't sound like that.
There you go. That's a good way to look
at it.
You know,
you're actually not putting in the work because you in your head you know where you should be at, but are you putting in the work? Instead of saying, "Oh, this artist did this," or he took, they'll say, you'll say different things about an artist, but in reality, you just got to step the game, and that's when it goes back to me saying I got to motivate myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just got to motivate yourself. It's fine to give people critique when they ask for it, but hating on them is kind of another world. And especially in Youngstown, you're biting the hand that feeds you if you turn on anyone who's in the music. Most people that are in the music industry here, because we should all be buddies. Really, you know.
It's so much talent in Youngstown. It's a lot of rappers out. You know what I'm saying? I listen to, and you see that's just on their grind and never stops. You know. Sometimes I think what happens in Youngstown is we'll get discouraged with the music and we'll stop, or like I said, everybody's waiting for that big break instead of making that big break. And I think that's the biggest difference. And I think I was guilty of that at a time in my life, and now, you know what I'm saying, when you grow up and you see different things, you learn that a lot of things is just about patience. And as long as you know you're doing everything that you can do to get to where you want to be at, there's no way you'll get there. So
and sometimes you got to put that weird pressure on yourself in order to get to the next thing. It's weird. Well, to close this out, yeah, listeners, I hope, like, I know I'm kind of like rotating out from like the musicians I know in Youngstown, like running to D-Town, then you, then whoever it spirals out to. So I hope listeners are like enjoying the journey we've been on in Nursery, where we're like, oh, there's hip hop, there's like, of course, the like indie rock hipster type thing, and there's like poetry, and we're trying to cover a lot of bases in the Ohio arts. But if you're not from Ohio and you're listening, don't feel excluded. Like this could be small town USA. This is like
no. You know, we want the music. We want the music, and we want definitely the podcast to reach around the world. We don't want to just touch Ohio. We love Ohio, but we want to touch everybody. And that's something that we definitely feel that we can do, and it could be a positive thing. This was dope. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Yeah, man. Yeah. You were a good guest. Is there any advice? You kind of just did it, but any advice to leave the listener on before we sign off?
And yes, I definitely have advice, and I'll also be taking this advice myself. Stay dedicated. If you have a desire to do anything, even if it's not music, if you want to be the best cooker at McDonald's, or you want to be the best trainer out, push yourself, because no one will push yourself like you'll push yourself. So I'll tell anybody, I don't care how old you are, how young you are, what you want to do in life, push yourself, and don't let anyone discourage you, because sometimes you can have people that's close to you in life, and they can discourage you just by the fact that you have a feeling for that person. It could be a feeling of love. So never let anyone discourage you, and shoot for your dreams. It's Ace 500.
Thanks, man. And I actually really do appreciate that you kept it on like a 2 feet on the ground perspective by naming, like, if you want to be the best at anything, right. A lot of people when they do music and stuff, they think they're above just the working class, and it's just the wrong attitude. So I appreciate that.
You're right.
Yeah, man. So signing off, can you give us the ending tagline? Can you say, "Look, Mom, we're on a podcast"?
Look, Mom, we're on a podcast, and I love you.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening, and make sure, as usual, to check out our sponsors. We have the Orange Avocado, that's raw, vegan, gluten-free desserts. They're opening up a juice bar in Canfield, Ohio soon, so check them out on Facebook. And then another podcast, Speaking of Music Show, at YouTube, the Speaking of Music Show. They talk about more mainstream music than, say, Ace 500 or Third Class. They talk about old classic rock, or they'll talk about I think they talked about LL Cool J getting into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They like deal with like the cultural issues of music. So check them out if you're like, Nursery, what are you guys? Like, start with the Speaking of Music show, then run to Nursery when you get more into the Ohio thing. And of course, we don't exclude anyone, but just, you know, once you get to know who we are through some other podcasts, there's actually a lot of Ohio podcasts. Come back to Nursery, check out the backlog at thirdclass.net or bullskit.com. And one more time with your site for the fans.
Oh, I appreciate it. If you're on Facebook and you want to follow me and see the funny things I might laugh at while I'm at work or while I'm working on music or different things that I see that, you know, that makes me happy or sad or different things, you can follow me on Facebook. It's Ace 500, ACE. I take it back. I apologize. It's Ace Brown.
Gotcha.
And they won't let me put 500, and I try so hard, but it's Ace Brown, ACE Brown. I'm on Snapchat at It's 500, ITS 500. You can actually follow me on Instagram. That's Ace500_, and that's the same on Twitter. And also, if you want to listen to music that you cannot hear on that Piff on the Danny Zuko, you can go on my SoundCloud and you could also tape Ace 500. Check out that message. Let me know what you think about that. And I definitely appreciate being on this. It was cool. We got the dogs running around, and it's fun. It was a good vibe. I appreciate it.
Of course, man. Okay, Mom. Thanks for listening. And from me, Ace, and the pugs in the background, Juno and Jeremy. Everybody have a good night.
It look like I got liquor, got loud. LL Cool J, we in the house. 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 Look, as soon as I walked in, please hand me that coffin. Been kicking it so long, I go by Phil Dawson. She say, boy, you're awesome. I'm loving this mixtape. I'm loving this mixtape. I'm loving this mixtape. Graduated. I ain't famous, but I'm famous. Start to hate it. She saying all your beats is fire. Richie Page off the mothership. She wanna get funked up. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. I'm a sucker for D cups. In God we trust. Who wrote on that dollar bill? Keep dancing. I need money. I sound just like Dollar Bill. Stepped in that holy field. Rich, this is tight, son. I'm good for an and one. Without saying and one. And 1 to the 3 to the. My dark girl look like it's more to the. Look, she used to do the Dougie. Now we do the Humpty. Life is too short, go shake them out. Look, I wanna rock right now.
Hello, Mom and Dad. I thought this might be a good time to make a tape for you.